On this week's expose, we're talking about Wolf Cub. Nick Gleason, Wolf Club, was actually made in, his first appearance was in Chamber number 1 in August of 2002. A little bit, so Nicholas's power, Wolf Cub's power, you'll never guess what he can do. He actually can transform his entire body into a wolf. Like kind of more like a wolf man, like half wolf, more of a Lupin form. So he's got razor sharp claws, teeth, enhanced senses, and can also see in the night. Nicholas was born in Cleveland, Ohio. He was raised by his parents until they were dead, or until they died. Right after that, he was actually targeted by anti-mutant assassins. Nick then was actually saved by Chamber and Cyclops and then brought to the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. There he joined the team, I believe it was the Paragon Squad, and he was actually on the same squad as one of Shawn's favorites, Pixie. Shortly after being at the mansion, he had troubles actually controlling his powers, kind of like his berserker rage, and he attacks Havoc. Who knows why? I mean, everyone loves Havoc, so. But
he's not whiny at all.
No, not at all. After that, he ran away from the mansion, and then he was actually confronted by Maximus Lobo and his pack, which was kind of just a giant pack of wolfmen. He was going to join them, but then he was rescued by the X-Men and the Exiles. After that, dissemination happened. He was one of the few people that actually kept his powers. He went on a bunch of missions with the young X-Men, such as into Limbo. He actually took down William Stryker and the Purifiers with him. After that, he was recruited by the young X-Men, a short team after basically, I think after Hope came, then everyone kind of split up, and then they created a new team called the Young X-Men. Things didn't go well for him on there because he was killed by Donald Pierce, I think maybe in like the 5th issue. But he was one of the few mutants that was resurrected on Krakoa, and not long ago he was actually in a comic with Magic leading it, kind of like a monster mutant clan where it was Magic, Marrow, Wolf Cub, Four Arms, Shark Girl, and Memomax.
What strange names these are.
I know.
And that's about it. That's Wolf Cub in a nutshell.
Cool. And we're well into our hundreds of episodes when we feature Wolf Cub on Expose.
Yeah.
Any relation to Wolfman?
None that we know of as yet, but they didn't do that like 23andMe testing yet, so.
Okay, fair.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Welcome to Bayville, my new home. It's time you remember why they call me Storm.
Look at me, I look fat. Do I look that bad to you? Easy, you fuzzy elf. Everything is going to be just fine.
Storm. That was tight. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Welcome to this week's Solving for X. My name is Shawn. I'm the ultimate excavationist.
And I'm something of an X-fan myself, Kevin.
And I'm your astonishing X-Men stan, Ryan.
And we're happy because here to school us from X-Men 101, we have Colby. How's it going, Colby?
Hi. I should preface very much an adjunct, substitute teacher. Don't take anything I take seriously or as the truth. Just putting that out there now. I am not a qualified educator, but I love to entertain.
There you
Hi.
are watching movies all day and not learning. Cool. So, Colby, tell us a little bit about what brought you to X-Men.
So when the X-Men movies first came out, like I remember when I was little, Pizza Hut got the little X-Men, Night of the Sentinels. That was the first
Mhm.
exposure to it. But then the
Yeah.
movies came out, and for me, surprise, surprise, costumes, like that's what I was like, oh my God, I love that. And literally ever since then, that has been like my big draw to obviously everybody talks about their stories and everything like that. It literally has been the costumes, the world, the everything that they put into it, because it's just enough beyond like our reality that it's like you can decorate your whole house and like the things, and it's like totally normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean,
As all of us have a bunch of crap behind us. So, yeah, we
Right.
get it.
Typically it's wine o'clock. It's instead I have a scepter and a shield, and same thing, same thing.
Yeah,
It's the new
amazing.
domestic housewife.
Yeah.
Definitely.
um,
Proud to be one.
who's your character?
Magneto.
Ooh.
Mhm.
It's whenever I do a cosplay, I have a thing of like needing to do like character study and like get into this whole like thing. When I started learning more about Magneto beyond just like the like what people have seen in the movies, the general like basics and like the depth of the character, then I really like fell in love with him, because he is so misunderstood by so many people based on such little information. And that's
Yeah.
just something that I love about his whole thing. It's like people automatically are like, "Oh, villain, villain." And it's like you don't know what got him to this point. Because if you did, you'd be on his side.
Yeah. And I think, and Ryan's
Nice.
good at keeping me straight about, I loved the run when Magneto he was still good. Well, he is still good. But when he was secretly going out and like killing and doing the stuff that he knew the X-Men couldn't do, that was my favorite, like peak Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like towards the end of Krakoa, or is it before Krakoa?
Are you talking about Uncanny X-Men when he had like his whole squad and Psylocke was on it trying to like keep him straight?
That sounds familiar. I think so,
And
yeah.
it was
See,
like, but it was back when
all these things
Betsy
that they
was
know, I don't
still
know.
in Quanon's body. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say one of my favorite recent moments in all of this was when Storm went to get him to bring him back, and he's like looking at all the names of the people that he's killed over the years, and it's all these monuments and everything. But then she brings up, yeah, but look at all the people that you've saved, and it's so much more than what he's been
Mhm.
looking at. And just that whole idea of like us fixating on, oh, this one little thing that like didn't go wrong, versus looking at the great picture of like how much great we've really done.
I love that. That was a great
Mm.
series too.
Hmm.
All right.
So yeah, that's what I love about Magneto. He does what he needs to do to get things done, and from an outside perspective, he's doing the right thing.
Yeah. And you're right. I really did love him and Storm together. They made such a cool like pairing, and I think they balanced each other well. So I'm gonna miss that. All right. So let's get into our sinister gossip hour of doom. So this one, I just really need to ask everybody something. I'm glad Colby's here to give an outsider perspective. This has nothing to do with X-Men, but I just really need to understand what's going on in my life right now. So I have this friend who like we used to hang out a lot until like COVID. I specifically remember the last time I saw her was March 2020. I haven't seen her since, but like a few months ago when Threads came out, she randomly started spamming me like all these like threads, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, why?" I was like, "I don't know. You're spamming me all these threads." She's like, "I thought they were funny." I was like, "Okay." So recently she started spamming me all these memes again, starting on April 9th, like at 9 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, midnight, 6 in the morning, just all these memes. So this is why I was kind of like low energy when we talked last week, Ryan, because I had just dealt with this. Um, I blocked her. I didn't know that blocking someone also unfriends them. I meant to just block her for a little bit since I'm studying. And then I unblocked her, and then right away the next day, she started sending me memes again at like 12:52. So the next morning, I was like, "Hey, whenever you send these, I'm asleep. I'm sorry, I'm not even looking at them." And I asked, "Is there any reason why like you're sending me memes at odd hours?" And she looked at it, and I waited about an hour, and she didn't respond. So then I just blocked her again. I'm like, "Okay." Have you guys dealt with anything like this, like serial meme spammers?
Yeah, so either manic or cocaine.
Okay.
Boom.
Two very, very good options. Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
In my
'cause part of me-
experience,
that's what it is.
those are the only two partiers in the room.
Okay. Because part of me feels guilty. Like, what if she's reaching out because she's lonely? But part of me is like, dude, don't take that on. Like, let her. If
Well,
she can't
If
talk
you want
to
to
me,
talk,
When
let's
it's-
have a conversation. You know.
yeah.
So I have bipolar disorder, so I have manic episodes, I have depressive episodes, and it's like that compulsion, especially when somebody is unaware of
Mm.
all of the mental health things that might be going on. They could think like, "Oh yeah, everything's just really great right now. I just want to share it with everybody." It's like, and in their mind, they're like, "Oh, this is funny. Like, I'm gonna send it to blah blah blah." Oh yeah, it's like, and in their world, everything's like totally normal. So that or cocaine.
Okay. We'll go with cocaine. All right. Well, thank you for your perspective. If any of you sexy Xies have anything for me too, please write in because I would love to know how to deal with this. We also have a new trailer for not Final Fantasy, Kevin, but Fantastic Four
know.
First Steps.
He said, "I saw this new FF trailer." I'm like, "Oh, Final Fantasy." I'm like, "Oh wait, never mind."
So it got me thinking from this new trailer. If you haven't watched it, it looks amazing. I'm even more excited,
really
but
good.
it makes it seem like Reed says something that I started to wonder, is he like the source of the incursions in the Marvel universe, since this takes place in like the 60s in an
before,
alternate
yeah.
dimension? Could he be the one that started the incursions that are wrecking it now? I think that'd be cool.
Possible, very possible.
Very possible.
Well, but then that he's in another dimension or multiverse, whatever, what have
Mhm.
you. So it wouldn't be this. Oh, but time's weird in the space time. Yeah,
That and
yeah, maybe.
Doctor Strange said something weird in Multiverse of Madness that I fixated on over the years. He says to Reed Richards, "Didn't you guys peak in the 60s?" So I'm like, wait, so they did exist in the main Marvel universe?
He says that.
Yeah,
But it's also Doctor Strange. You could have seen other universes.
that's true. That's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Touche.
Okay, but on this topic, how does everybody feel about the animation style of the Thing?
I think it looks really good.
Do you? I am so uncomfortable with it.
Really?
Yeah.
It actively makes me uncomfortable.
How so?
I've heard that
I
argument
don't
before.
know why. I don't know
There
why.
is something. There is
because
something to it. But I don't know.
It doesn't move like rock. it's the organic like shape that it is doesn't move the way that it should, and that fucks with my head. Like,
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I don't know, but it bugs, and I don't know.
Because he does
I
very
haven't
much.
heard other people talking about it, but I will say the Slash trailer, I am now fully on board with it, regardless of,
Sure.
I was hoping
Rock.
that it was like, everybody was like, oh, this is him, and then like 10 minutes in, they're going to like look completely different.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say,
But he
Kev?
does have the 60s look. Like that is the very
Yeah.
much the 60s like drawing of him.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
but I've heard people are very uncomfortable by it as well. You're not the only one. So
Really? Oh, thank God.
yeah, no.
Okay.
I didn't love how the Silver Surfer looked, actually. Not because she was a woman. I didn't like how.
You're such a misogynist.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't. The animation of it. It looked more. Like honestly, it looked like something that Mercury should be, like from the
Mm.
X-Men. Like if she was going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
it looked more liquid than like a solid being and stuff like that. Which I don't know. Maybe that's
Did
what
the
they're going for.
contacts for Johnny and Sue also look like extra, like super obvious and intense? Like Johnny's contacts, like they're like an uncomfortable, like
I was like, that's not
unnatural
you.
blue
Like,
with
that's
that
not you.
blonde hair. It's
Like, you're not
it's another
Johnny.
one that's like,
Yeah, he looks a little weird.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah.
agree with Silver
Yeah,
Surfer.
yeah.
I didn't like her look
Yeah.
either. And again,
Right.
not because it's a woman. I'm on board with Shaw LaBelle. It's interesting we're getting somebody besides Norin, but I don't know. She looks like early 2000s video game to me.
It's just a little unfinished. Like something's like
Yeah.
well,
more
and
there.
that is the fair point. All of this is like so early on that it's
Mhm.
not at all what the final product is gonna
Right.
be. But I will say, at least story wise, this last trailer did a very good job of getting me on board with getting excited for the Fantastic Four. Because I was like, yeah, before. Like, I'm yay, new, but I was like, yay, new,
I shit myself
Yeah.
when they said that Sue is pregnant. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yes. I love their whole late analogy too. I'm like, what is this? The 60s with Lucy? No.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about our previously on last week. So we asked, this is a good question for Colby. We asked, should the Maximoff twins be Magneto's children again? How do we think this kicked out? And what are your thoughts on it, Colby?
I think the way that Magneto views it is they will always be his kids in some sense. That in every universe I see him the way he is with other mutants, in that paternal protective way, that I think he sees certain characteristics in them that whether he's in a universe where he thinks he's their dad or not, that he's drawn to people like them and to protect them. So yes, they should.
Okay. Well,
We all said yes,
this
too.
was we all said yes.
Unanimous.
This was it almost was unanimous on our voters too.
Oh.
We had 48 people say yes and 2 people say no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was 96% to 4%. So yeah, Marvel, if you're
I
listening,
love the 2
which
people that are
we
like,
know you
no,
are.
keep them bastards.
We don't
like,
want
what does that
this.
reason mean?
Yeah. I wonder. I can see who voted no. Let's see who they are. Let's call them out.
Call them out.
We never said it's
not
an
letting me.
anonymous. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, one of them is my friend Jessie. She is gonna get a talking to. I won't call out the other person because I don't know them.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, I mean, and we talked about it too. Even in like the newest Scarlet Witch series, she refers to Magneto as father still. So it's like we're right there, Marvel. Like, just let us have it. Like, bring it back.
Mhm.
Also, it's something that everybody still kind of is all holding on to. Like, no, we're not on board with that. We're still gonna believe that they're his kids. It's kind of like something that I don't feel like
Exactly.
no one got on board with them like doing away with it.
Yeah, that's what I said
Yeah.
last week. It's like that's how I always thought in my head, canon. No matter what, I'm like, I always believed this to be true, no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah.
And plus, Pietro looks just like Eric. They're like spitting image of each other. Like,
Agreed.
yeah. All right, this week we are talking about Blind Alley. Kevin has been shitting all over himself waiting for this episode. And if you listen
I'm all
to him
wet.
guest on X-Men 101, him and Colby were shitting all over each other talking about this episode.
You asked me what
So this
Cyclops
release-
episodes to watch, and I said this one.
Yep. So this released October 19th, 2002, written by Greg Johnson, Boyd Kirkland, Craig Kyle, Doug Molitor, and directed by Kurt Getta. We haven't had a Kurt Getta yet. This is exciting. This is a new director.
Oh.
Get at! I think we did have that one.
Getta!
Remember I said get at.
Yeah. All right, Ryan in the beautiful sweatshirt, kick us off.
Will do. Area 51. 2 doctors come in to examine Mystique. She's tied to an operating table. We get a flashback of how Mystique was captured. Scott left her in Area 51. The male doctor goes to get a restraint. Can we talk about this? Why did this restraint that he, like, it had, like, a long ass, like, pole on it, and then there, like, the little circle at the end, it looked like the stuff that they use in Jaws to like get the like chum to like get the fish over, like to like beat it up. I was like, what are they gonna fucking do to Mystique? Like I actually felt bad for her.
The death chair. Your injection.
The male doctor goes to get a restraint, leaving the female doctor alone with Mystique. As the male doctor is returning with the restraint, the female doctor leaves, telling him that she had to sedate Mystique. The male doctor goes to check on Mystique, but shock! It's the female doctor. Mystique knocked her out and shifted into her.
What?
Are we? Okay. Alarms blare as the facility is warned that Mystique is on the loose. Impersonating the Doctor, she runs into a soldier and takes him down. Mystique makes a run for the outside world. The soldiers lose her as a murder of crows fly by. But hark! Does one crow have eyelashes? I see you, Mystique.
It's like doctor.
So-
Doctor.
I do call
Eyelashes.
shenanigans a little bit because they showed how they showed like the flashback, but it was just what we saw in the episode. How did she get captured? If it was this easy for her to get out once free of the restraints, how did they capture her in the first place? Shenanigans.
Well, that's, saying, that she didn't want to be in the restraints.
With that large pull restraint thing, maybe I want to be in the restraints too.
She likes the challenge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "It's
She
a free meal."
fucks around just because she gets bored sometimes.
True.
Yeah.
Like we'll see how this plays out. I'm already here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back at the manor, magma is seen melting a new asphalt road. Multiple falls off a ladder but makes 4 new multiples to help him paint. Rogue is hanging up artwork made by a 4-year-old. Spike is seen laying down rugs in a way only a horrible delinquent like Spike can. He runs into a wall and accidentally spikes the room, ruining Rogue's already ruined art. Beast and Iceman are seen setting up the electronics. Bobby assures Beast he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I was like, you old beast.
You old.
Bobby, you don't know what's going on. That's not Grindr.
Right.
Wow.
All right. Outside, Jean telepathically lifts a satellite to a shirtless Scott and Logan. Because it's so hot outside, they have to be shirtless. They have to. I don't know. I don't mind it. Let the throuple begin. Oh yes, this is very much like. Okay. First of all, it's like Daddy Logan with Scott. He's like, how do you know if a girl likes you? Like,
Pliers.
Literally,
right?
when I was watching the episode, I got to that point and it says favorite moment, Scott Logan shirtless. I already,
Nice.
I took the note as the episode
It's
was like, that's going to
amazing.
be it. I don't need another one.
It's fantastic. I love it. And then we see like Jean looking at them like, oh yes, I like what I see.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, are you looking at Scott? Are you looking at Logan? Are you looking at both? Like, okay. But then we have this little note here because like only it's creepy in this iteration because Logan is very much older and these are like underage children technically. So I'm like, so we're like, I'm like, what, maybe one more year you'll be 18, son.
Do you think that Logan
Hashtag goals.
in this universe? Do you think that
What?
Logan in this universe had to give Scott the talk?
Yes, very much so. You're
Yeah,
right.
totally. Because he's not going to go to Xavier. That's.
So does that mean that Storm told Jean?
Probably.
Jean just
They had sex-
knew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jean knows.
Shit,
about
oh,
it.
got it. Got it.
I know how
You
sex
say
works
it,
from
you'll get it. Yeah.
Xavier's creepy thoughts about me.
I mean, yeah. Ew. All right. So Scott smiles down to Jean, but buttily. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Kitty phases through the roof to join Scott and Logan with the cabling. A little ways off, Cannonball uses his power to create large holes.
I knew it.
Sunspot
Ah.
fills the holes.
Yep. There we go.
Using his super strength with trees. That's interesting form of fisting there. Cannonball goes a little cray and runs into Berserker's careful brickwork.
Which
There you
last
go.
we saw Berserker, he was looking for the Morlocks. So I'm like, what the fuck happened to that story? Where's my Morlocks?
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
we lied to you. No.
Yeah.
they lied. I thought they'd be there more, but you know.
I guess they should be called the Lesslocks.
Okay, Dad.
You're welcome.
As Scott and Logan continued their shirtless work, Scott asked Logan
Calm
about
down,
love.
Kevin.
Logan seems to have affection for only inanimate objects, like pliers and bikes. Logan threatens to tell Jean about Scott's crush if Scott doesn't man up and do it soon. Just then, a crow runs into Scott. But, does this crow have eyelashes?
It's like I winky face, Scott. I have eyelashes.
Right?
Down below, Jean is distracted and almost hits Storm with a floating statue. Her mind is on Scott. Jean uses her power to set the statue on the fountain, and Storm uses her rain to fill the fountain with water. Teamwork! Jean continues to stare at Scott. Storm picks up on the crush and talks to Jean about Scott. She encourages Jean to tell Scott.
Yep.
Yeah, we see aboot because we like to be Canadian.
I saw that. I embraced it. I went with it.
Good, we appreciate that.
We're
Thank you.
showing our support for Canada in this time when our president is an asshat and trying to bully them. So this is our way of supporting them. That's what
Change
it's all
more
about.
American words.
Yeah. You betcha. Later, Jean and Scott run into each other in the hall. Scott is about to tell Jean when Nightcrawler ports in and tells Scott that Alex is on the phone, and it's definitely really Alex, and nobody was fooled by this. Alex tells Scott he is stranded in Mexico. This reminds me of random, but Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. There's like robots made of their girlfriends, and they call them from the desert, and they're like, we're going to the desert to be alone for a while. Definitely don't come looking for us. So naturally they go to the desert to look for them and they get killed.
Yeah.
All right. He was there for a surfing competition and someone swiped his wallet. He tells Scott he can't reach his foster parents and he needs help. Scott agrees to go help him out. I put in my notes like right away, this is so not Alex.
So you were suspicious right away. I was going to ask.
Like, because I'm in Mexico for a surfing competition and I lost my wallet and can't call my parents. Like, that's a lot of ands. Like, come on.
Can you send a private jet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost my wallet. Can you send a private jet?
Yeah.
That escalated quickly.
Right.
He might as well have been like, don't tell anyone else on the X-Men. Come alone.
Yeah.
So I do really like this storytelling right here because it makes me wonder, was the crow that hit Scott Mystique and then she flew to Mexico and called us Alex? Or did they write in the crow to make us think it's Mystique to throw us off that that's her,
Right.
but this is really Alex? If that made any
Yeah.
sense.
You think lashes are trending in the crow community?
Probably after seeing Mystique with the lashes, they're all like, I want that.
He's a
Yeah.
trendsetter.
I mean, that's... Mhm. And yeah, I like that potato patata, way it could go. It depends on your outlook, what you see, Mhm.
Yeah.
I think they're beautiful, just the way they are.
Thank you. That answers nothing.
I agree with Colby.
Oh, is it me? Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So Scott's plane touches down in Mexico. Mexico! Okay. He goes to meet Alex in the airport. Scott offers to get him some food. Alex, he's like, walk this way, down this hall. It's like, I'm going to push you. And then Alex puts Scott into a corner and turns into Mystique. She gasses Scott. Scott wakes up in the desert without his glasses. He can't see without his glasses.
Oh.
Oh, poor sad. Scott begins to wander around the desert with his eyes closed. He opens his eyes briefly to see where he is. It's not good. Well, he's like, it's good nobody was there. Oh, but nobody was there. Oh.
Yeah. So emo.
Yeah. He wanders the desert until nighttime. He finds himself surrounded by wolves. Scott uses his power to fend them off. Yes.
I feel like in this moment, if Scott had a cell phone, he'd be sending random memes to people to like express the way he's feeling at this point.
But is it late at night? Is it like 1 a.m.? Do you think it's 1 a.m.?
12:56 a.m. She's not bitter that she remembers the exact time,
Like, I don't wear my sunglasses at night.
The remake, Corey Hart.
Well, there's a song for the week.
So did you guys notice when Scott was using his powers to fend off the wolves at first? Like he uses it and he shoots it directly like at a wolf's head, and the wolf just like literally like just lays down. Then like he just lays down on the ground, not like he's like hurt or anything. And then as soon as like Scott starts to back up again, then like the wolf like pounces back up. I was like, is this the type of training that I need to start doing with Bruno? Like,
Yeah. So he can protect himself from Cyclops if he ever runs into Cyclops in the wild.
it could happen. It could happen.
Yeah.
I do have to say, I have to give it up for all of the writers and how they have been able to make Cyclops' power so different and not the same each time is just truly remarkable. But all still technically the same power.
Yeah.
That's pretty fantastic.
Sometimes it's heat, sometimes it's concussive, sometimes it's NyQuil. Where were we?
Back at the manor.
That's right.
Jean abruptly wakes up. She has a vision of Scott being attacked by wolves. Xavier comes in and tells Jean that she's dumb. A dream is just a dream. Definitely not her Omega powers picking up on anything. Back in the desert, Scott continues to fight off the wolves by making them lay down. No. While Philippe runs home to warn Belle that her father's been taken by the beast, Scott unleashes his power on the wolves. They start to chase him. Two late night sexy workermen see Scott's blast and drive over to help him. I feel like this is the beginning of a movie I've seen before.
Right? This is a porn. Somebody order a pizza.
We saw your blast.
I hate
Scott
Xavier
finds
right
himself.
here again.
Oh, wait. What?
Yeah. I hate Xavier right here again because Jean just had this horrible dream. Scott's missing and he does nothing. He doesn't scan the mansion. He doesn't scan her mind. He's just like, you stupid bitch. It's just a dream. Go back to sleep. I'm like, do something.
Right. And he's like, my powers can't see past the this range, so yours obviously can't.
Yeah.
And you said it was like Omega level powers. I always thought it was her psychic connection to Scott, because ever since they touched each other, I thought they were like psychically linked. Because don't they have a psychic link in the comics too?
Yes, they do.
They do.
So
yes.
Yeah.
That definitely comes to play in this episode too. Look at you.
I know.
Scott finds himself between the wolves and a cliff, not to be mistaken by Wolverine and a guy named Cliff. He takes a step back and falls into the ravine. The wolves move in to take their prey. The wolves are about to attack when the Jeep pulls up with the sexy workermen. They save Scott and drive off. Mystique watches from above. She turns into a falcon and follows the Jeep.
This woman is so fucking patient. She dropped him off in the middle of the day and followed him until nighttime.
I told you, she's bored.
I mean, really, like this, she's going way extreme because like he left you in a little facility, and you're doing this. Like this almost seems like too far. Because it's like you were just left there, something you could have got out on your own anyway. And he's like, I'm gonna get revenge.
Yeah.
And Scott was right to be pissed. You stole his professor and locked him away and blew up the mansion. Like, of course he's gonna be pissed at you.
For any one of those reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah. And
She's had so long to plan
mention,
this
she's like
too.
She's like 28 years old and he's 17. Like, you gotta pick on a kid.
That's pretty fucked.
Accurate. Get a hobby.
Right.
The
So
disappointment in your
I-
face when you said that. You're gonna pick on a kid? Like, yeah.
Who hurt you? What's wrong with you?
I counted this as a pop culture moment because it really reminded me of Ultimate X-Men. I think it's one of the early comics when Wolverine is holding Cyclops on the cliff and he lets go and lets Cyclops fall into the ravine and leaves him for dead so that he could get
Oh.
Jean all to himself. Totally gave me that vibe.
I can see that.
All right.
And Sean, I actually just
Yo.
finished all of that. All the unlimited. It's completely done now.
Wow. How did you think of it overall?
It ended too abruptly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it did some things really well. One of the ones that kind of pissed me off a little is the reveal of Strife and Onslaught just being Xavier and Cable from the future, whatever they did it. Yeah. They simplified some things really well, but some things like that, I was like, no, that's a little too overly simple. You just overly simplified these two crazy characters.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, definitely.
Mhm.
But I liked
Good, you
Bishop's
better.
new team that he made.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, it's a really good series. I need to revisit it. All right. Back at the manor. It's me, right? Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Back at the manor. Jean goes to the phone to dial Alex. She tells him she's glad he got back from Mexico. Alex tells Jean, Xavier's right. You're a stupid bitch. What are you even talking about? Jean knows for sure now something is up. And this is a 2000s moment.
You know what happens to a
Because
toad when
the
it's struck by lightning?
phone!
2000
The phone. Because I'm on the phone.
I was laughing my ass off. I forgot what the movie's called, but there's a trailer out right now for a scary movie where they're trapped in an old style house and they go to use the rotary phone and they're pressing into the round buttons. They're like, what kind of phone is this even?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Scott wakes up in a Mexican hospital. The doctor tells Scott he was found by an oil rig crew and brought to this hospital in Mexico City. Scott is desperate to get to a phone, but the doctor insists they check his vitals first. They force his eye open. He's like, "No, get away from me, no!" But they open him up, and he goes and explodes the roof, just like the first X-Men movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just then, Cerebro hones in on Scott. He's somewhere in Mexico City. Gasp. Jean vows to find Scott. Who dumb now, Xavier? Who's the stupid bitch now?
Such strong feelings.
I know.
Yeah. I feel.
Scott wanders Mexico City alone at night. He calls out for anyone to help him. Scott feels his way to a phone. He asks for the operator, but the line has been cut. He hears someone's footstep as they run away.
Somewhere within a 5-mile radius, the Blackbird touches down. Xavier, Storm, Logan, and Jean have come to Mexico City to find Scott. Meanwhile, Scott continues to feel his way through the night. He's confronted by 3 asshats. They want money to pay for the ruined hospital. They attack Scott, and Scott tries to fight them off blind. He uses his power to scare 2 of them off. The remaining dude shifts into Mystique. She's about to gas Scott, but swipes the canister out of her hand, and they start to fight.
This made me mad. Mostly because these slugs are like, you're gonna pay for our hospital. I was like, I'll write you a check if you let me free. It's like, No, we don't want money. We'd rather just beat you up. Like,
Yeah, no reason.
Also, where is Scott getting all this money? Like, he just hopped on a plane to Mexico. He's willing to pay for this roof. Like, it's not Xavier's money.
privilege. That's what you get for being a Boy Scout. You get the money.
Yeah,
You get a bigger
maybe
allowance.
he has an OnlyFans.
You get
Oh,
he
yeah.
has an OnlyFans.
It's great. It's a great supplemental income.
Yeah.
and based on what his appearance with Logan, I wouldn't be surprised.
True. I just want to point out, like, I love Colby's reading voice. I kind of want to pay you to come to my house and read me Lord of the Rings at night.
I have to completely agree. I was listening. I'm like, he's so good. Like,
Who are casting in the
Too
next
much theater growing up. Too much theater.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely have to bring Colby into our next little voice thing.
project. Yeah.
2 Mutant to Handle. Go check it out, everybody, if you haven't already. All right.
Jordan's
available on
Jubilee,
all
she's super
streaming
cute.
sources.
Yeah. Jordan was her Jubilee, and she was so naughty. I loved it so much. She was the highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were not expecting that.
Mm-mm. I mean, we were expecting she'd be a highlight, but we weren't expecting how naughty she would be and then being that highlight.
She has a knack for that.
Yeah. All right. Jean is being super discreet, walking the streets in full X outfit when she suddenly picks up on Scott's mind. She sees Scott and Mystique fighting through Scott's eyes. Jean reports into Xavier on what she saw. Xavier recognizes the church in Jean's vision as the plaza of the three cultures. Jean rushes off to get there to help Scott. And I did really appreciate that she actually saw through Scott's eyes, because it's a pet peeve of mine when in movies and shows they like see it happening, like she would have seen Scott like fighting, but no, she saw through his eyes actually.
Mm-hmm. And you had the red tint and everything,
Mhm. Good attention to detail.
For some reason, it really pissed me off when she was like, "Oh yeah, it's over here, Xavier," and he's like, "Oh, this is where it is," or "This is what I saw in my vision." He's like, "That's where it is. Go there." How is she supposed to know where this place is? Like, she's literally wandering the streets of Mexico, and she just is like, "Let's go."
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It
I don't know
also
if she's gonna
like
make it there. Yeah.
he didn't even say it in Spanish. Like it would have been called a Spanish name, not an English name. Like he should have been
Right.
like, said the Spanish name and then this is what it's called in English.
It's
Mhm.
Xavier. He would never do anything like that.
I know. I hate him.
Because none of the signs are going to say what
Appropriation.
you're thinking.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if she tries to read someone's mind, it's all going to be in Spanish. She doesn't know how to speak
Oh
Spanish.
my god.
I just love how much we find reasons to hate Xavier. How dare he speak English to Jean in Mexico? He doesn't even speak Mexican.
Meanwhile, Scott continues his battle with Mystique. Mystique seems to have the upper hand. But to be fair, Scott is fighting blind. She kicks him into an abandoned building. Scott uses his power and misses Mystique. He blasts the car and instantly feels bad about it. Mystique shames him. Scott's foot falls through the floor, trapping him. Mystique is about to pounce. Scott blasts the floor from under Mystique and they fall into an underground cellar. Scott shoots out the light, trapping them both in darkness. Scott is used to the dark and uses it as an upper hand to fight off Mystique.
I believe it says Scott hoots out the light and not Scott shoots out the light. So please read the incorrect thing correctly. So.
Hoot! Hoot! Hoot hoot! What?
Not bad.
What?
I love it.
As Scott and Mystique continue to fight, Jean makes her way down into the warehouse. She claims that Mystique ran off. Jean picks up an oar and prepares to attack Scott. Scott catches on to Mystique's ruse and blasts her. Mystique gets up and is about to pounce when she pounces on Scott when she mysteriously floating mid-Jumo.
Jump.
Jean floats in through the wrecked floor and wallops on Mystique. Jean uses a Psyblast to knock out Mystique and goes to Scott's aid. They realize that they must have a psychic bond, a rapport, if you will. Scott tells Jean his one wish is to open his eyes and to see her face.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Although I love Mystique though when Jean comes, she's like, "Oh, your girlfriend's here to save you." I bet you Scott's just like, she's my girlfriend? What? You think she's my girlfriend?
I thought the same thing. I was like, she's saying it to Mystique first? Ooh, I love this.
I was like, oh.
Back on the Blackbird, Jean tells Scott to open his eyes. She has placed an extra pair of ruby quartz glasses on him. Jean snuggles in close to Scott and kisses him on the cheek. Strom and Wolverine are happy that the lovebirds are finally together. Xavier gives the camera a pervy smile. He wonders if he can ever tell Jean about his true feelings for her. You're welcome.
The
I
end.
told you guys I'm obsessed with that X-Men #1 when Xavier looks out the window at Jean and thinks that. I wonder if she'll ever know how I really feel about her. Why, Stanley? Why? Yeah.
When the eyebrow was raised,
Alright.
I thought the same thing.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about our feelings on the episode. And did you feel it was Britishly bitchin' like Emma? Pretty cool like Iceman. Australian Wolverine, you kind of love it, but kind of hate it. Fat and sweaty like Jubilee. Are unspeakable like X-Men Origins Deadpool. Who wants to go first?
Well, it had that shirtless scene. So,
It did.
Britishly bitching like Emma.
Okay.
I told you, that was it. That sold me.
Solid reasoning. I don't hate it.
On the roof.
On the roof. Well,
I mean,
speaking
there
of
was a lot.
clothes
I
off,
think this is the most nipple we've ever had in X-Men Evolution. Because I mean, for
True.
half of the scene, too, Scott's shirt was torn off, so we had one nipple there too, for at least half of the.
And
episode.
Scott's been making a habit of doing it in this show, but
at this point, he's purposely ripping his shirt in battle.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, my
Yeah.
nipple! Look,
It's
Jean,
is
my
Jean
nipple's
here?
out."
Is Jean here? Yeah.
It's a secondary mutation. Just a laser comes out of that one.
Nipple lasers. Speaking of clothes off, Kevin, what's your thoughts?
Can you imagine breastfeeding?
Oh my God. A poor baby.
Oh my. All right, I guess I'll go. I gave it a Britishly bitchin' to the max because I like everything about this episode. I love the clever way Mystique escapes. I love the shirtless Logan Scott, and then the Jean in the view and all the innuendos and all the implications that entails. Well, maybe not all of them because of the age thing, but most of them. I like Scott being in Mexico in the desert because it gives us kind of a refreshing change of scenery. I think it's well paced. I think the characters are authentic and driven. All of them are really driven. It feels dangerous. There's heart. The battles, per usual, are very well choreographed, which I liked. So I'm just super happy.
Yeah. How about you, Ryan?
I also chose Britishly Bitchin' Like Emma. I really liked this episode. The kind of the final, it finally happened. Scott and Jean are together. All of that. We've been waiting, like 3.5 years for this now? I'm sorry, 2.5. But it was awesome. Also, I really like the visual kind of points of it too. Like right before, like when I'm sorry, not when Mystique was going to fall into the cellar, like the way that the camera spun around and when she was even doing the kick, like it was kind of cool animation that we haven't really seen in the show before. So I really like that as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I gave it fat and sweaty like Jubilee, is what I would be saying if it was African Storm. But I actually gave it Britishly Bitchin' Like Emma as well.
Yay!
Yeah, it was so good for the reasons you said. It showcased, Scott. We finally get the Jean and Scott love story, but also, like, as much as I did make fun of her, like, Mystique would do this. Like,
She would.
she's sadistic. She wouldn't just kill someone, but it's just
Yeah.
funny that she followed him all day in the desert, though, too, to do it.
Yeah.
Like, dang it! People are rescuing him. Rude.
Right. She's like a James Bond villain.
It's
Totally.
so on point for her with her character,
Yep.
though.
Mm-hmm. So
She
yeah,
has,
this
like, the
was
best
like all
patience in the
around, I
world.
think, a great episode. What was that?
I said
Sorry.
she has the best patience in the world.
Yeah. Who do we say is the MXP, most excellent player?
The nipples.
The
I know
nipple.
that's what Kevin's gonna say.
Karma Colby,
The
yeah.
nipple of the episode.
Beautiful.
Kevin, just say it. We know you're gonna say it. Say
Okay.
it, Kevin.
Come on.
Kevin,
I mean,
just say it.
it's
Why aren't you saying it?
it's Cyclops. It's Cyclops. I love that so much. And his nipples. Because he really was stranded alone, having to rely on his senses and innate spatial awareness. That's something about Cyclops that he has. He knows where the rooms he's in and how to adapt to them, and he's using his hearing, and he's using how he can feel the room. It's really great, and they really animate that really well. That gives you the clues to determine that. He uses judgment on when to use his powers and when not to use his powers, and to what degree, because he's not trying to kill those wolves. He's just knocking them out. So it's like a low dose kind of blast. So he's like really stepping up. I think he really held his own, even when he was like being kicked like really bad by like literally kicked by Mystique, and it looked like he was gonna like die from those kicks. He still got the upper hand a lot of the time. He was really smart. The way he shot the floor, the way he shot the light, the way he like dodged her punches and things like that. They're really cool. Yeah, so this is like an episode where you get to really see who Scott is and what he's truly capable of, and he's like a superstar to me. So, ta-da!
Yeah, touche. I gave it to Jean because of her willpower and like her self-assuredness that Scott was in trouble. The only thing I would have done differently if I wrote this is when Jean wakes up and Professor X tells her she's a stupid bitch, I would have had her go anyway by herself, because we really didn't need the team to go with her. They didn't really
Right.
do anything. It would have strengthened her resolve and her power. So that's all I would do differently.
Yeah.
What are the other
I'm gonna
thoughts,
give it to
Lauren?
the crow with the eyelash. Whether it's Mystique or whether or not it's Mystique, we don't know, but that's who I'm gonna give it to. No, I chose Cyclops as well too. This was an amazing episode for him, and I don't know what else more I could say that Kevin didn't already.
Touche.
Yay.
Colby, yours was Cyclops' nipple.
Oh, just all the nipples in general. They're unified force in this episode.
Okay.
The nipple union, if you will.
Yeah.
The nipple
Doesn't
alliance.
discriminate nipples.
Nipple
Yeah.
Rangers. It's
Nipple
milk.
Rangers.
It's milking time.
It's milking time. Oh my god.
I need this to stop, right? I know. Kevin, you're off the podcast.
I can't control these thoughts. I don't know.
Yours, it's like areola. It's just like-
uh,
What would we say is
Too
the
bad
X
you're not drawing the
Factor?
Can you imagine if you were drawing the pictures for these episodes, Shawn? Remember?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. When I used to have time and a life.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. With the nipple rangers, there'd be one where the nipples are like not lined up right. So one of them's like, oh.
Jean has that one outfit where she's only got the one boob and the one nipple.
That's true.
I know, we covered it on our
See?
Mhm.
It was Nipplegate.
Oh.
Nipplegate. So what is the X Factor?
The nipples.
I mean, when you think about the episode, visually, you think nipples when you think
True.
this episode.
Touche.
Honestly, that could
Well, I
actually
said
be
that-
even the X Factor, really, because think of how many times like you've seen the X-Men working on like the mansion or something shirtless in the comics, or like they're playing basketball shirtless outside the mansion, something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna say that the X
It's very
Factor is
much
nipples.
on brand.
Yeah,
Male nipples.
Male nipples.
male nipples. Yes.
um,
For me-
Go
For
ahead.
Kevin.
Okay. I kind of made Cyclops my MXP, so I made Jean my X Factor. Because you're right, she also did really amazing in this episode, trusting her instincts, and doing what feels right, even if Xavier doubts her abilities and her real instincts. The psychic connection I love, and everything that she's doing is really made apparent here. She's driven, and finally making the move to this romance with Scott. She kissed him. She did it first. So yeah, go.
Yeah.
And she said
I'm
she
gonna
told
echo that. I
Mystique
really
her boyfriend.
liked. Yeah, I liked seeing the psychic report form, because I feel like we don't really get to see that so much in the comics. It just kind of happens. So it's kind of neat that throughout the episodes we can kind of link it back to what was the one called Power Surge, when Jean loses
Yeah.
control.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's fun. They did a good job with that.
Yeah.
All right. Previously on this week, where would be most cruel to leave Cyclops to die? Antarctic tundra, Amazon rainforest, Sahara Desert, or Mar-a-Lago?
I was gonna say visorless in an IKEA, but that wasn't an option.
Oh my gosh! I cannot go to IKEA 'cause I get lost. So
Yeah.
I feel that pain. I'm like, where's the exit? I just want to go.
I just want to go home. Yes.
Right. No aisles? Where are the aisles? I just need to. I don't understand.
It's like Wizard of Oz, right? There's literally one road that you follow.
I guess.
So
It's like, where's the
you
secret
say.
passageway? That's what I want to know.
I know. I'm gonna change one of these to IKEA. Blind in IKEA. All right. It might say Imea, but it's there now.
Well, I think we chose that one.
Yeah,
that
there
or
you go.
I mean, if IKEA is the one, that or the Antarctic
IKEA is
because I
the
don't like the
one.
cold.
All right, let's move on to our Danger Room Divas. So, Kevin, under the new rules, the new regime, the new policy, you won last time, so you get to choose who is
did.
going to go up against Colby.
Oh my goodness gracious! I'm gonna do. How about Shawn? Since it's been a while. Because it's been a while.
Woo! Let me just brush the dust off myself here.
The almost
Yeah,
birthday
after this,
boy.
like my 5 or 6. Yeah, it's my 6th time in a row of playing the game.
Yeah.
Like finally, I get a break.
Is it
You're just
today's
so
your
too damn
birthday?
popular. Tomorrow, the 22nd.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank you. For my birthday, we have decided to purchase Universal Studios passes once more, and that's where I will be on my birthday. And compared to Disney, these passes are so fucking cheap. It's $500 for the Platinum Pass. We get no blockout days, front of the line after 3:00, free parking, and a ticket to Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Damn.
excited. It's been like 2 years, I think, since I've been. Or a year? I don't know. It hasn't been that long, I guess. All right, but enough about me. Something I'll never say. Colby, would you rather be heroes or villains?
I'm gonna have to go with villain.
All right, let's see who you get, sir.
Oh.
Spin that wheel.
I'll get the timer out.
Shadow King.
Shadow King.
Okay. In my yes. Okay.
Okay. And then for my hero, I got. Oh, I got Boom Boom. Boom Boom for Shadow King. I know we had her recently, but that's all right. We can start doubling up.
Yeah.
All right, and our situation. We are battling over.
Come on, Gambit, can't you make this program a little tougher?
Oh, it's no game, Clyde. It's the Danger Room. It's where we train.
Danger Room Divas!
Simulation complete.
Okay, who would be a Star Wars fan? Boom Boom or Shadow King? And do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first. Because I don't know much about Boom Boom, so I'll let you kind of jump in after I go.
All right.
Okay.
Mark,
well, Shadow King.
Go.
Okay. Shadow King. All right. Hello. He's gonna love the Sith. It's basically the same thing, just with a different top hat on. So, the Shadow King, I think he would be a Star Wars fan because he would get ideas. He would be inspired. And it would make him grow as a shadow person. And really grow on the inside and help propel him in his future career in shadowing.
Shadows.
As one shadow person does.
Shadow. What do you do for a living? Shadowing. I shadow.
I go to 4 years of
So you
shadow
found your
school
brother to
for
school
nothing.
day. Yeah.
Shadow school.
All right, Shawn, you ready?
Ready.
On your marks, get set, go.
So you may not think Boom Boom is a Star Wars fan off the bat because of her personality, but when you look at X-Force, she grew up with Cable and Richter and a bunch of futuristic and also nerdy, also Shatterstars from another dimension. She knows a lot of weird people, so she's been introduced to Star Wars and she watches it. She enjoys it. a lot of people don't know this, but Boom Boom, she was very inspired by the Death Star blowing up, so that's where she got her name, Boom Boom.
Stop.
This is a fact. You can look it up. You can quote me on that.
Wow.
Just, I won't tell you where to look. Well, this will be fun. Thank you for battling with me, Colby, and just in time for May the
Yay.
4th coming up in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Yes. I will be at Disneyland in full Star Wars geesh with my mom on May the 4th.
Oh. That's Mike and my
Fun.
1
Well,
year
I say
anniversary.
fun. That's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't know my mom. I'll be there with her, so I'm just kidding.
Sandra.
Sandra. Yeah, Kevin's met my mom.
I have.
All right. Well, Colby, if our listeners want to find you, besides Under a Rock, where should they look?
I just started up a new Instagram, CosColby, CosColby, and you can also find my Etsy shop where I'm making all sorts of fun things. I got a 3D
Yay.
printer and I got to sell some shit, otherwise this house is going to look crazy real soon.
Your cocoa flowers are amazing, by the way. I forgot to say that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
When are you going to start your business of flying out to people's homes to read to them at night? Because
I mean, maybe I got to work up that business plan.
good.
Once
'cause you
upon a
already have
Deadpool, here we go.
Yeah, there you go. You want to tie me up naked? That's fine. Just read to me.
Yeah, right.
And where can we find X-Men 101?
X-Men 101, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on most podcast platforms, all the ones I know about at least.
Nice. Kevin, how about you?
Oh, yeah. You can. I think I'm in the red. I want to make sure. See you in the red again. No. So you can find me at KGZ87 on Instagram, or my other podcast with Shawn, Words of the Witches with the Charmed magazines. What?
How about you, Ryan?
You guys can find me on Instagram at RYEORIO or find me in the Solving for X comments.
And you can find me on Shawnee Havoc on Instagram, Threads, or TikTok. And you can find our podcast, Solving for X.Xmen.TAS, on any of those also. And yeah, we'll be back next week with another episode. Now that Gene and Scott are finally fucking together, I can start enjoying the show. All right. Thank you for listening, Sexy Xy's. Bye.
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 Thanks, Colby.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
We're glad.
It was. You're very entertaining.
Yes, sir.
I try.